What's up, y'all, and welcome back to Pretty Automotive. Today we are talking about piston rings and actually how you guys can conserve power if you use the right ones.
More power, baby. More power, baby. More power, baby. More power.
What I have with me is 3 different rings. One of them is the 3-piece oil ring, a top ring, and a second ring. A lot of people confuse the top ring and the second ring as the same ring and they're interchangeable. They are not. They're 2 different things, and there's a few reasons for that. The first ring and the second ring have a completely different function. The first ring is trying to build that seal so that your compression stays where it's supposed to. There's no blow by. The second ring is actually trying to help remove the excess oil and help the oil ring. Now, before I go into too much detail, I'm gonna go ahead and take the old stock rings off, and then we will get into some more detail on the new rings. So I mentioned previously that the top and the second ring are 2 completely different rings. They're designed completely different and they have completely different functions. Top ring, the very first one, is going to be for sealing. That's what seals. The top ring is going to be for sealing. It's to keep the combustion.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Compression. The first ring is there for sealing, and that is simply to get as much compression as you can without all of that gas and air blowing by it, which would be blow by. The second ring is going to help with that blow by, and it's also going to help the oil ring to remove excess oil. So they serve 2 different functions, so they're going to be completely designed in a different way. They have a little notch on both of them. Now, the top ring, it's going to be notched on the top side, so it's going to be facing up. And the second one actually has a notch on the bottom side, so it's going to be facing down. What that basically does is just make sure that the rings stay in the ring grooves to create an even better seal. But there's a couple cool things that you guys can actually do to decrease blow by but increase sealing and all this other stuff. So I am actually going to show you what I decided to do on mine. I was thinking about doing gapless rings, but I went against it. Slightly a budget build, but it's really expensive. Instead, I got gas ports. Gas ports instead are little notches on the top side of the first ring. Get the gas back behind all of these little slots so that it can get back behind the piston ring, and then what that piston ring does is it gets pushed outward, and all that's going to do is increase the seal and make it even better. Compression is really important, and not having a good seal on your piston ring is going to ultimately reduce that. Another characteristic that makes the top and second ring a little different is actually the outer edge. On a first ring, it's going to be a rounded edge, and on the second ring, it's actually going to be tapered, and that's simply because of the function, once again. I'll be back. Can we just admire the fit real quick? Like, the whole world needs to see them. I bought them on Shein if anyone else would like to buy them, or buy them for your girlfriend. It's a good idea. One thing I did forget to mention is since I'm putting the stock pistons back in, I just got a piston ring replacement, which is from Molly. If you didn't do that and you need to know what size rings to put in it, like let's say my top groove, let's say it's 1.2 millimeters, you multiply that by 39 thousandths, and then you get 47 thousandths, which would be what size your top ring needs to be. Same for the second one, it was 1.5 millimeters, so then that would be 59 thousandths. So that's kind of the conversion there. Let's go ahead and get into actually filing them down. Here are the Molly instructions right here, and I am going.
I'm gonna have to tell you guys what boost I'm doing.
Well, I guess I'm not telling you guys what ours. I don't want to go into too much detail of what I'm gonna do because I don't want to tell you guys everything yet, so I'm not going to tell you what I gap them to. Use that for the math. Just take your bore size times whatever application you're doing, and that is what you need to grind your rings down to. So I got a couple things with me. I have feeler gauges, I have a piston ring square, my piston rings, a file. First thing I'm going to do is put my ring in there and then square it. And then once you have squared it, you're going to take whatever your rings were supposed to be gapped to, you're gonna take that in feeler gauges and see if you can slip it in between. I cannot slip it in between, so I'm gonna take that back out and then file it some, and it's kind of just a guessing game. You try it, and then if it doesn't work, you try it again, you file it again, and then if it doesn't work, you file it again. Get the concept? Okay, time lapse. Good. Gapped our piston rings, it is time to actually put them on the piston, and Molly has specific instructions for this. Your piston rings do move. They are free to move once they're in the engine, but Molly recommends this for break-in purposes and to avoid those gaps being lined up once they get into the block. And that's just breaking up the gaps really so that they're all not just like in line with each other. That's about it. Okay, that was terrible. You can chill. And just like that, your rings are gapped and ready to go into a short block. So I will leave you guys to do your piston rings, and I will see you very soon, hopefully with a short block.